Hi, this is just a very short video to address some of the comments I got on my TR909 RD9 and TR09 video. A couple of things. Firstly, bringing everything from individual outputs on the TR909 sounds completely different to bringing it out of the main mix. And secondly, the RD9 kick sounds different depending on how you trigger it. Firstly, let's just play that intro demo pattern coming out of all the separate outputs. It sounds rich, it sounds full, it's got a lot more bass in there, hasn't it? Let's compare that to it with just coming out of the main out. They sound completely different, don't they? So when I said it sounded a bit band limited, it is. When you bring everything out of the main outputs, you do lose a lot of bass and you do lose a bit of the top end as well. But the overall conclusions, I think, still stand. The others do sound a bit more hi-fi to this, but yeah, there's much more bass in this coming out of the individual outputs. Of course, some tracks that you'll have heard, some tracks you like, will have brought them out of the main outputs. I wonder why they did that, but there you have it. So let's put that intro track together again, and I'll just mix in this coming out of all the main outputs, really just to put the record straight so you can actually hear what they sound like doing it that way. Next up then, the kick on the RD9. When you play it using the pad, it does sound like it's lost a lot of the accent, and that's because it has. And I couldn't understand why in the pattern, when everything was playing, it sounded okay, sounded fine, but individually it didn't quite have that punch. And that's because to get the punch, for some reason, you have to press, tap and hold. And that's not just louder. So if we turn the loud one down, it's definitely lost all that transient punch. It's a very peculiar thing to have done that. I don't know why, but what they're at risk of doing there is having people on YouTube demonstrate it incorrectly and give people a wrong impression of the kick drum. But, you know, so yeah, it's fine. Sounds much more like a 909 when you hold that. I hope that set the record straight then. I really didn't want anyone thinking that the RD9 had a really flimsy sounding kick and you couldn't play it on its own in a track and hear that punch, because you absolutely can. It's just the way it triggers. Also, the TR909 versus the others, it doesn't have a lack of bass. It does have that bass in there if you go through the individual outs. But like I said a minute ago, some tracks will have come out of the main outs, some tracks will have come out of the separate outs. But again, it just goes to show how there's a wide target for all these things to sound like a 909, because we've heard it processed and EQ'd in so many different ways. Anyway, I hope that was of some use to somebody somewhere. Hopefully I've put the record straight. And if I did, if you did enjoy that, do please subscribe, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. As you know, this channel is funded by my wonderful patrons who get access to patches, samples, tutorials, and other bits and bobs as well. Also, I'm funded by affiliate links. So if you do fancy buying an RD9, do click on one of those affiliate links. Also, do take a look at my starskycar.com website, patches, samples, and stuff like that there. Thanks very much then for staying to the very end, and I will see you next time.